I would say the thing is, though, is that I've always actually been a gamer. I've always really loved. I remember I used to read comic books. I remember my mother would take me to the library, and the thing that really got me into most people, you tend to figure that their love of science fiction and fantasy comes from their dad's side. Mom. Mom was the one who sort of introduced me to various things about science fiction and fantasy that I found myself absolutely falling in love with. I remember she would take me to the library, and I used to read comic books at the time. And I haven't read comics in quite some time, but what I remember is that wandering through the aisles of books, letting my gaze drift upon all the spines, what I remember was that fantasy novels captured my attention because their artwork on those books was incredibly similar to the artwork of the comic books that I was reading. Not exact, of course. Not the X-Men or the Silver Surfer, not Superman or Batman, Green Lantern or the Flash, none of those. But it had dragons, griffins, spiders, forests, unicorns, people on horseback, people casting magic spells. All of these amazing things that were completely different than all the normal books around. And that's what drew me in. And you start reading them. You get drawn into these magical adventures that take you to these places that your mind would have never experienced otherwise. These lands of fantasy and might and magic, heroes and villains. All these stories, these people, these places, these landscapes, these worlds, these galaxies of stories that would otherwise never exist. And so you read. And depending on how your mind gets drawn into the story, you branch out, you expand. I always tended to read series. If I was going to read a book, then I started off looking for books that were 300 to 400 to 500 pages when I was quite young. I remember my mother did the test, which is when you turn to any random page on the book and look for, I believe it was either 5 or 10 words. If there were either 5 or 10 words that you did not know, the book was too advanced for you. And what I remember amusingly enough was that there were, I think, 4 words. So it was just there. And I read Pierce Anthony's Blue Adept, Split Infinity. Blue Adept, I believe. Or Split Infinity. I think Split Infinity was the first book of the Blue Adept series. And so began my love affair with fantasy. And so I would chase down these massive, sprawling adventures. I don't like standalone books. I like the ones that spend 1,000 pages drenched, absolutely drenched in detail, in characters in a living, breathing world, where you're dropped into a place that your mind can't help but believe is real. Those are the places that I love. And you go from that book to the next book, to the next book, to the next book, and you live and breathe and grow. You cry. You delight. You experience the struggles and the journeys that the characters you read about go through. And because of the medium, because it's words written on a page, what you do is you have far more depth, far more plunging experience, far more intricacies and plays on words and thoughts and thought processes. You have all of this enrichment of detail that you don't get otherwise. Not that movies are bad, I find myself fascinated by those as well, but with books, you live with them. You are drawn into the books, you are pulled along on this same journey. These characters you fall absolutely in love with go through. And then, but what of gaming? But gaming is the next level of interaction with these stories. With gaming, you're not just reading of these characters, you're not just watching the journey unfold, but you're living it. You make the decisions. You cast the spells, you ride the beasts. You save the princess, you do these things that before you had only ever read about. And that level of interaction, that level of immersion that can only be truly experienced when you yourself have some say or some control over the outcome. When it's not just a page that you read, but a page instead that your actions write. That's why I'm a gamer.